Do you aspire to become a manager? Be prepared to sit in several meetings from your very first day at work. You will sometimes spend your entire working day in meetings and also be responsible for the structure of meetings in the company. But in almost all literature and organizations, there's no mention of meetings. Why is this? With our book, we want to give a conceptual toolkit to everyone who is interested in organizations and how they work, in order to understand what meetings actually do and why there are so many of them. My name is Patrik Hall, and these are my co-authors, Malin Åkerström and Erika Andersson Cederholm. We have written a book entitled Why Meetings Matter, Everyday Arenas for Making, Performing and Maintaining Organizations. So, why are there all these meetings in organizations today?
Well, meetings are very important today in a democratic organization, and not only to managers, but also to employees. We constantly need to negotiate issues, and everybody wants to have a say. And organizations today are very complex, and we need to negotiate things all the time. And we can almost talk about a negotiating organization today. But we also argue in this book that meetings constitute organizations. They actually make up organizations, do the organization. And that became also quite visible during the pandemic, when we didn't have any jobs to go to, any workplace. So in order to show that the work was actually done, we needed meetings. And we have also shown in our book that for many organizations, they saw an increase in meetings during the pandemic.
Digital meetings then?
Yes, digital meetings in that case. And also today that organizations need increasingly also to collaborate with other organizations. And we also work in projects quite a lot today. So, and that shows that we need a lot of meetings. Projects, for instance, do not have buildings, do not have permanent employees, etc., those tangible, visible things of an organization. But what is very visible and tangible are the meetings. So in that way, these organizations are actually made up very much of meetings.
People also criticize meetings, don't they? They are too long, they are too boring.
And meaningless.
And meaningless.
Says people. In all the organizations that we have studied through ethnographic means, mostly. And we can observe how people do other things. They engage in sneaky work, multitasking. And they have a lot of help of technology today, so that you can use laptops or smartphones. And you can also get involved in fun things, like looking at social media with your friends, and even playing poker, looking at the weather forecast and so on. And there's also a whole genre of making fun, like cartoons and coffee cups with text making fun of meetings and so on. And there's also a response to this experience of meaningless or boring meetings in the meeting industry, with meeting consultants and so on, where they promise making meetings more effective or emotionally satisfying and so on. But in our book, we want to show that even though you feel that meetings are boring, I mean, people still honor them. You go to the meetings, or you just explain, oh, I have a meeting to attend, without explaining why or what the content of that meeting is. So meeting plays an important social function. And as we said, they also constitute the organization in many ways.
Mm-hmm. So why is it important to learn more about meetings? As meetings are such a central part of working life, as we heard, we need to understand them. They are important, but also taken for granted. They are a little bit like the water to the fish. We don't see them because we are surrounded by them. Before we start cutting back on meetings, we need to understand what meetings actually do. In this book, we describe meetings as doing three things. Firstly, meetings are doing the doing, meaning getting the things done, such as writing something down together. Secondly, meetings are doing the organization. And third, meetings are doing the collaboration.